Hi, so this is my resubmission for assessment 1. So for entry 1, high quality children's literature is more than just a story. It uses rich language features with strong illustrations and layered meanings that children can both enjoy and learn from it. As we discussed in topic 1, these texts act as mentor texts, and they model language and storytelling that can help children develop their literacy, imagination, and empathy. The book I've chosen for this assignment is Market Day by Carrie Gallash, and it's illustrated by Hannah Somerville. This is a wonderful example of a high quality literature because it takes familiar everyday events like going to the market and transforms it into a narrative and experience for the children to go through. The text itself is quite simple. It uses rhythmic language and it makes it accessible for young readers, but it's also supported by strong illustration. I feel like when I read the story, it's quite simple in the way it's written, but obviously the pictures, I guess, emphasize what the story is telling us. The artwork uses warm colors and detailed images of stalls, people, and food to create a lively mood and the sense of place. This makes the market feel vibrant and welcoming, while it also gives children lots of visual details and noticings, I guess, to discuss as a class and with a teacher. So this book works well with as a mentor text in the classroom because it connects children to real experiences. Obviously, many children would have been to markets themselves, and it provides opportunity for vocabulary development and food, family routines, community, and also models a simple narrative structure. And how it can be turned into a story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. For the reason, so these are the reasons Market Day is a strong example of high quality literature that supports both engagement and literacy learning in early childhood. So for week 2 entry, types of literary text and context. So my chosen text, Market Day, is a narrative picture book because it tells a story through both words and images. The meaning is created through interplay and text illustrations, which are key features in this type of book. In terms of context, Market Day reflects a contemporary Australian community. The stalls, families, and food shown are familiar to children today, giving the text strong social and cultural relevance. The book celebrates everyday life and belonging using realism to show authentic, relatable family experiences. So obviously through the families going to the market and like engaging with, I guess, all different people within the stalls. So this makes it a valuable classroom resource because not only it tells a simple story, but also connects the children to the lived worlds, while broadening their understanding of community. So obviously it's great that the children will be able to connect it to their everyday life. So for week 3's entry, responding to and examining literature, one of the most important literary elements in Market Day is the setting. Obviously, I noticed the busy, colourful markets, which creates a sense of energy and connection. The characters and the children and their family are shown through everyday actions and routines, which makes them highly relatable to everyday life. The theme of the family and community is clear, while the mood of the story is warm, and the style of language is simple yet rhythmic, as I mentioned in the previous slide, matching the flow of the day at the market. As the reader, my response was a sense of joy and familiarity. For students, the responses will depend on their, I guess, idea, if they've been to a market, if they have prior knowledge of a market. Others may experience sort of a bit of a gap, a bit of unawareness within the story if they haven't been to a market, but this gap can create some curiosity and further discussion within the classroom. Emotional responses might include excitement at the colours or the comfort in the scenes and the family belonging that the vibe the book brings. These responses all show how children engage personally with literature. So in Market Day, meaning is also made visually, not just through words. For example, silence in the illustrations often falls on the stalls overflowing with produce, like all the bread and the oranges and the fruits and the cheese within the book, which immediately draws the reader's eyes to that picture and that setting. The warm colours and careful composition create a lively and inviting atmosphere. So obviously very easy to follow and read with the pictures in the book. While the vectors, like lines of bunting and paths through the stalls, guide as we gaze across the page. So we can obviously see the setting. When I created my own visual response, I focused on framing the scene from a child's perspective, showing how the market feels, big and busy. I also used colour to capture the joyful tones. As a text producer, these choices show how visual literacy meta-language helps us explain the meaning process behind images as we do with written text. So for week 5, focusing on poetry, in response to Market Day, I created a poem and I chose free verse for this poem because the text itself flows in a natural and rhythmic, natural rhythm without needing strict rhyme through the book. So obviously the book is very detailed with descriptive language that goes along with the pictures in the book, allowing it to be an easy sort of read for the children. I use repetition to echo scenes of stalls and people repeating throughout the market. I also use alliteration like baskets brimming to capture the sensory atmosphere, so like sense words. My word choice also focuses on imagery, so the sight and sound and smell of the market, so our 5 senses, to recreate setting in another form. The line breaks in my poem are deliberate. These are allowing for a space and a pause, just like the pacing of the original story. So like I've mentioned a few times, the story is written in quite a simple way for us to follow. So in this way, my poem connects directly to the book while showing how children's literature can inspire creativity and responses across different models of expression. So I'll now read my poem that I created. So the Market Day poem. Baskets brimming, voices calling, fruit piled high in painted rows. The smell of bread, warm and rising, fills the air between the stalls. Children's laughter, feet skipping, hands reaching for sweet treats. A busy hum, a family together, Market Day, alive with colour. So that concludes my presentation of Market Day for Assessment 1. Thank you.